Hi everybody, it's Glitch Kitten here with another movie review, this time for the Harry Movie Club. This week we are charged with watching Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Now this is a movie from 1997. It stars Mike Myers as Austin Powers, as well as Dr. Evil, and Elizabeth Hurley as Vanessa Kensington. Now the movie starts out with Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery in the swinging 1960s. Time where all women loved him and all men wanted to be him. He did have a nemesis back then, Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil and his wonderful cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, do actually cryogenically freeze himself and rocket into space in a big boy rocket. Austin, as well, has been cryogenically frozen, and they need to thaw him out so that he can thwart Dr. Evil once and for all. They do unfreeze Austin. He does come back into the 90s, however, so a lot has changed since then, and he gets teamed up with Elizabeth Hurley's character, Vanessa. So Dr. Evil and his evil henchmen are sitting around a table trying to concoct plans to take over the world. Dr. Evil comes up with plans such as, Prince Charles having an affair and thus having to divorce his wife, which he finds out has already happened, as well as taking a laser and punching a hole in our ozone, which then he finds out has already happened as well, and nobody's throwing him a frickin' bone here. So at that point he just concedes to steal a nuclear warhead and hold the world hostage. So Vanessa and Austin do get word of this plan through one of his advisors called A Lot of Vagina. Austin does actually come to the realization that the world is a lot different from the 1960s. The 1990s is a lot different from the 1960s, from a spur that actually came from Vanessa's character. He then goes through a tape of all major world events that happened while he was cryogenically frozen. And it kind of comes as more of a realization of the situation that he's in at this point in time itself. So Vanessa and Austin do actually get captured by Dr. Evil and put in pseudo-futuristic clothing in his evil lair. There are a lot of throwbacks to old spy movies where there's very elaborate ways to kill somebody. So he wanted sharks with lasers attached to their heads to kill them, and he had to settle with ill-tempered sea bass. Now, my honest thoughts on the movies, I did actually see it when it first came out in 1997. I did enjoy it back then. I actually owned the soundtrack because the music in this movie, I will admit, is actually really, really enjoyable. There are still parts of this movie that I do laugh out loud at. When he's on the conveyor belt after going through the warm liquid goo phase after being unfrozen from cryogenics, when he's actually in the shower kind of dancing around half asleep in the shower, that still makes me laugh, as well as just the comedy between him and the helpers who are also on the conveyor belt with him, trying to actually maneuver him around after being frozen for so long. There are a lot of raunchy jokes in this movie, a lot of sexual innuendos, sexual jokes. Of course, if you're not really all that comfortable with stuff like that, this probably isn't the movie for you. They do actually touch on the very bad puns that are in the movie. There are tons of them, which I'm absolutely fine with, but a lot of people get kind of annoyed by puns. But they do actually touch upon the running gags, the running puns of the movie. Even when it came to the ill-tempered sea bass, Vanessa actually said, okay, that's enough. Also, when Dr. Evil and his son Scott are in group therapy, Dr. Evil's story of his growing up, of how it's absolutely, normal for everybody to have all of this happen to them, but Carrie Fisher's character is just like, okay, we're gonna stop now. Okay, we're done. The scene where Vanessa and Austin had a lovely night on the town. They had quite a bit of champagne and they played Twister. He and Vanessa are laying in bed and she's quite intoxicated. And she does actually try and make a move on Austin, and he said, I can't. You're drunk. I can't. You're drunk. And coming from such a sexual deviant back in the day, even for him to say that, of course, is character development, but I mean, for that to be put in a movie blatantly outright, you know, don't really go for that super drunk lady. I do commend this movie for putting it in there. So yes, those are my thoughts on Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. If you do want a good chuckle, go ahead and watch this movie. I would recommend it to those who want to laugh. Mike Myers is always good for silly comedies. I would recommend this if you do, you know, want to smile and a bit of a laugh. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching again. In the comments down below, let me know what your favorite parody movie is, or what you would like to see parodied in the future, because with this one parodying the old James Bond movies was... Thank you very much for having me along, Harry Movie Club, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye! Now there are still parts... Whoa, what the fuck happened to my words? Ugh.